took it away.
Okay, let's call the Clewiston City Commission regular meeting to order. It's Monday, February 23rd, 2026, 5 p.m. And Pastor Vargas, if you will come and give us an invocation.
Lord, we thank you for this day that you have given us, God, another day that we have been given, Lord, to come, God, and honor your name. We pray for our mayor, for every commissioner, Lord, for every city council member, Lord, for every member, God, and representative here today, that you would give us wisdom, Lord, in the days ahead. God, wisdom for this year, Lord, to do, Lord, that which you have called us to do, Lord, according to your will. We thank you, Lord, for every leader, Lord, for every sacrifice that has been made, Lord, in the name of Jesus. Thank you.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Madam Clerk, if you would do the roll call.
Commissioner Williams.
Here.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Here.
Commissioner Gardner. Here. Vice Mayor Heislow.
Here.
Mayor Pittman.
Here.
City Manager Williams.
Here.
And City Attorney Rooney.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, we have a couple of presentations today. Our 2025 Outstanding Community Service Award at our annual chamber dinner. The recipient was not able to make it, so tonight we would like to honor Ms. Christine Peterson. And we have I'm going to read part of this proclamation. Christine Peterson, whereas because of many important contributions that Christine Peterson has made to the city of Clewiston, she is deserving of special recognition and appreciation. She has shown great devotion to the city, our community, by her service as a police dispatcher. Remember those days? Detective, assistant chief, city commissioner, vice mayor, and mayor, and public service academy instructor. And I think that's what most people know you as today, as you have turned out many outstanding students from your program. You instill the importance of service to countless young men and women as you prepare them for a wide range of career in the criminal justice field. Whereas Christine has demonstrated in countless ways her dedication to the welfare of others and has earned the respect and affection of people from all walks of life. Therefore, on behalf of the citizens of the city of Clewiston and the City Commission, we honor you and present you with the Outstanding Community Service Award for 2025. Ms. Christine Peterson. Need to get a picture down front, don't we?
We're going to walk down front.
Yeah, let's file down there.
Oh, we'll go down there, okay. No, go ahead. Appreciate this, but it's not, I don't do anything. I've done it for our city. That's the grace of God. Not a lot.
Ready? 1, 2.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate what you do. You know what, just stay down here. We're going to go ahead and do our other presentation.
I do want to tell you, I'm very humbled, and I don't do anything any differently than any of you in this room do. We love this city. You have all put yourselves in that spot. I am a hot mess. It's the grace of God who has brought me to places where he felt that I was going to be perhaps useful. And I'm thankful to him for that. And I appreciate all of you for doing the same thing. You are absolutely essential to the city, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
He was kind of naked up here without the table. Now we're gonna honor one of our longtime employees, Hayes. Around the city any length of time, you've seen him in several different roles, but started out as a lineman, as a groundman, and then a lineman, and he's advanced through the ranks, and he's taught a lot of young men and women, I think, but mostly young men, how to be groundmen and linemen. Steve, thank you for your service. This says, we congratulate Steve Hayes for 43 years of dedicated service from groundman to lineman. Your commitment and professionalism have strengthened this department and powered our community. Service to the city for 43 years. All right, we'll make another. In fact, Lynn, here, you can present this to him.
Congratulations.
Mr. Mayor, because we know he came to work every day, he still had his wife who probably got him to work on time, so.
Not really. He's the one that does the alarm and gets my shower on, so.
You were part of the whole process.
Sorry.
All right, thank you. We'll say a few words.
I know you worked hard too.
She's gonna get him another job, you kidding me?
He's gotta do.
It's his time. It's his time.
Supported my family for all the years. College. I appreciate the opportunity to work for the city all this time.
Steve, hope you have a good retirement.
You get by.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. You've been hitting CrossFit, you can fit back there.
Okay, item 3 on the, well, is there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Mayor, we're going to add resolution number 2026-10 and resolution number 2026-11 to the agenda.
The ones that we have here in front of us.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, at this time, anyone that would like to speak, public comments, you may make your way to the microphone and state your name and address. Seeing no movement, we'll move on. You're welcome to speak at any agenda item also when that agenda item comes up. Item number 3 is the review of the Blue Cross Blue Shield employee health.
I think, Randy, I think you're going to speak on that behalf.
I'm here. Well, sure. But just to say, this is the first time I've been on this side of the commission meeting via phone, and you truly cannot hear anything if people aren't speaking directly into their mics. So a little bit, there is some cutout, and if there was a question asked, I did not hear it.
No questions so far. We're just opening up floor for you to kind of go over, review the policy.
Sure. And if Tim is there, he can answer some kind of like, hardcore numbers. But basically, what we had done this year is we had found some inconsistencies last year. The numbers were kind of all over the place with who paid what. And the basis for the plan has always been the employee is covered 100% on the city's base plan. And then a percentage of family members and, children or whatever plan you might choose, whether it's just spouse, kids, or the whole family. And the way it's set up this year, of course, was the 100% with the employee, and then the employer picked up an additional 40% of the coverage if the employee had chosen family, spouse, or children coverage. And that's where it's currently at. And I think the breakout is, and unfortunately I just don't have it in front of me, 79 employees have the employee-only coverage, and then 17 employees have, one of those other three plans, whether it's family, spouse, or children. And I believe the conversation, this had come up is the rates did go up, and it was just the change. I'm assuming, and I thought we did good with this on budget, but I think I maybe didn't, make it expressly clear, since we're having surprises now as to what those final rates were going to look like. And they are higher. I'm affected by it. And, I know in that room, Francesca's also affected by it. And we talked about it, but it's like, it's like, just the position we were in and just trying to, I guess, save money is probably the best way to say it. But we thought we were putting it in the way the commission wanted, and we're available to answer any questions on what we think, what we see and what we might want to do differently.
Well, I'll start out, since I'm the one that requested, the breakout. And I just noticed from last year's employee and children, well, really all of them, employee spouse, employee children, employee family, but the one particular, the employee and, hang on, let me look at it, children went up 71% from last year. And when that was brought to my attention, it was like, oh, that's a huge amount. Seeing as the commission didn't change the percentage as what the city paid, it should have been the same percentage. So then the only other answer is the rates went up more than we were told by the insurance company. And that's very disturbing if that's what happened after we were told that the rates would be going up 5 to 7%, which they did on a couple of lines. But on other lines, they went up. The highest one I saw was 71%. Employee spouse is like 52%, and I didn't multiply all of them out, but so that's why I'm bringing it up.
And that is sure. Yeah, and I understand where you're coming from, and the rates were varied like that. Where one was 57 and one was the 70. I'll step back and say that Blue Cross, the broker did hold the rates with what they said, so it wasn't that the rates had changed. But last year, it was, we were looking at it from that point of view, saying, okay, if you had employee plus family, the city was covering something like 91% of that one, versus employee and spouse, they were covering 65% of that one. And that was all over the place. And what we tried to do this year was make it consistent across the board to where, 100% of the spouse plus, or 100% of the employee, plus 40% of any additional premium. And if we got that wrong, that's on me. But it was primarily a cleanup exercise, because it was kind of all over the place in the prior year as far as how much
But Randy, I'm sorry, I guess I'm not understanding what you're saying, because when we sit up here at the budget time and we say, the employee is 100% paid by the city, and then there's a 40% that we pay for the spouse or the. It's always been that way. I don't remember us covering 91% of spousal coverage. That's not what we had decided upon years ago when we started increasing that.
Well, Tim and I worked on this together, and we were both, I think he can kind of back me up to say, I think maybe maybe we thought we were paying 40% previously, but we weren't. We were paying 80, 90% previously, and we were trying to get back
Yeah,
to
I
where
can
we
speak on that,
thought the
Randy.
intent was supposed to be.
I can speak on. I'm Tim Finance. So we broke it down from prior years of, 23 to 24. When you actually look at it, if you look at the first one, that's just our basic coverage. If you look out to the far right in the orange column, you're going to see that if you're doing employee plus spouse, you're doing 76%. That's what the city was paying per that person. It wasn't 40%. We try to go back and break down how the numbers were broken down prior to us, and we don't know where it messed up at or anything like that, but we were never only just paying 40%. Right now, the policy that we're using in place is 40%. So how that looks is we paid a base. So the base cost is $10,000. We pay that across every single plan. You get $10,000. Whatever's remaining, we pay that 40% of. Whatever's remaining out of that 40% is what the employee pays.
Which is my understanding of the way it should have been.
That's how it should have been, yes, ma'am. And that's how it is right now.
But it wasn't the last 2 years, 3 years.
No, ma'am, it was not. We look back from previous, it was not. It was 76%. It was 80% on one. It was 72% on one. It was all over the place.
So let me just make sure I'm understanding
Yes,
you
ma'am.
correctly.
Yes, ma'am.
The city was paying more than their fair share of what they were supposed to be paying for spousal and family. And at this time during the budget process, you guys found that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
Yes, ma'am, that is
Okay,
correct.
Okay, but here's my question. Who said you could change it? 'Cause only these 5 people can change the percentages of what's deducted from our employees' checks for the health insurance. If y'all wanted to go to 40, that's fine, but we have to vote on it.
But
And
you
I'm
can
not
change-
getting on to you, because I know you,
It's always been 40%. I mean, we started out
They just
increasing at
enforced it.
20, 25%, 30, 35%, and we stopped at 40. We didn't increase it more than 40 for the spouse and for the family, but we've done that at budget time. Sometimes we've gone up it's been 5% every budget cycle, but we didn't go up. So that 40% is a correct amount. It sounds to me like somebody, somewhere along the line, was not taking the correct percentage amount out of payroll. Is that correct?
That's yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay.
So,
but it hasn't been the same. Over the years, and Steve can probably, he's still here, he remembers certain line items, yes, were 40, but others, like employee and family, the city paid a higher percentage. But another line item, they paid a lower.
Okay.
And we have talked about at budget time, equalizing, coming closer. But a 71% difference in 1 year, that is unacceptable for our employees. In my
And
opinion,
that's,
I'm just one
if I
person.
misunderstood, but I did think during the budget, I thought that was an agreed upon point, and I apologize if I misunderstood that.
That's what I
The
understood.
last thing that was said is since we raised the fire assessment, we weren't gonna mess with the percentages on the insurance. That's what I remember. But I could be wrong, maybe.
That's what we said.
So, and then when people had to cancel this city insurance and go out of network, so to speak.
But we did discuss that some other businesses only pay for the city employee only. And that was a discussion we had, because you have employees that have families and spouses on the coverage, but if it's an individual, single person, their benefit is less as a city employee than if they were married and had a family. And that's one of the things we were trying to even out, because the benefit of the work that's being done, 8 to 5, is the same across every city employee. And that's what the discussion was. And we said, we were only going to be paying a certain percentage on all of them. And that's my understanding, was 30%, then 35, and then 40. I've never heard, I don't remember. At one time, we paid 100% of everything. And that's when we started saying we can't keep doing this. And that's when we started incrementing the 5%. And that somehow along the line, somebody wasn't being deducted, that 40, was getting a higher subsidy as an employee because they had family or spousal coverage, then, unfortunately, it sounds to me that that's what happened. So it was a false sense of a benefit that really wasn't there. We've talked about it at budget cycles. We've gone from 25 to 30 to 35 to 40 on any additional coverage.
I know that's been different for family than it was for spouse, than it was for children. And
And we
it's
did,
to change it that much in 1 year is it's not good. When our own employees have to go somewhere else to get insurance coverage.
So when was it changed? It was 71%.
It was prior
never-
before me. It was already there. So
it
we,
was never, we never had it. I mean, we used to pay 100%, but we started charging the employees 25, 30, 35, now up to 40. We've never covered after that point from when we started this. We never paid 71% for it was, if it was done in error. Because that's a huge benefit for someone who's working alongside somebody that doesn't have that same benefit.
Can we pull those names? Can you give me those?
I can, yes, sir, I can.
I'd like to have that.
There's only
I don't
seven-
think
you said there was only
anybody's saying
17
though
that
that
had-
the city paid 71%. I think Jimmy is saying the cost went up 71%.
Saying the price hike
Yeah.
on our employees went up so much, they had to cancel their city insurance and go find cheaper insurance elsewhere. Not everybody. It wasn't like 100 employees. It was a handful, but it's a handful that people, you know, ladies and families with children, and they couldn't afford it. And these are good employees, and we have a lot of jobs that are fixing to open up in our city, and we're gonna lose great employees if we can't beef up our benefits. And I'm not saying 40% isn't good, but maybe we need to look around and see.
So
What
if I may say, if you look at the scenarios that are out, if you believe the one prior to this was more, cost effective for families, you can see the 60% one, which is the third one down, is very similar to the one that was done prior to this, that before the jump. So that's us paying 60%. So that's about equivalent of what was being paid, and that was never, we couldn't find anything that was ever discussed for that, like we said. So we thought the 40% was what we did, so we went through, this was done prior, like I said, and that's what we're paying right now, 40% of the remaining balance after we pay the premium that's offered free to the employee.
And I believe during the budget time, if I remember correctly, the plan was going, the 5% was happening, and then when COVID came around, I think that's when I heard, I wasn't obviously with the city at that point, but that's kind of when it got stalled. And, that might be where some of the history was on as to why it stalled out, I guess. I don't know the best words to use for that.
Okay, so your
As far as
percentages here
the
in
step ups or step downs.
the percentages here that you've given us in the orange boxes, is that what's current?
That is current. Right now, the second box down is what's current right now. So that's a 10,000, that's every single plan's given automatically, then 40%. So you add those two together, will give you the percentage of what the city's paying per employee for that benefit. So it's
Okay.
still,
So it's 100 for the single on the base plan. I'm looking
Yes.
at the base plan.
yes, sir,
And the city's paying 66.31,
for employee and spouse. Yes, sir.
and then so forth and so on, 70, and then,
And that's 100% of the employee premium. We pay that 10,000,
10,000,
543.44 for every employee.
every single
So
employee.
we
Yes, ma'am.
deduct it, even though they have spousal coverage or
We
family
deduct that
coverage,
off.
we deduct it out.
Yes, ma'am.
All
That's
right.
exactly how we calculate it.
Right.
well, then that just tells me that the premiums went up more than we were told. Because if you deduct the 10,000 and then we're still paying those percentages and it still went up 71%, then the premiums must have almost doubled from,
I think what he said, if I'm not mistaken, and you can correct me, Tim, is that the employees were not being charged. They were getting higher subsidy than what this chart showed. And they had to assess it correctly when
Yes,
they
ma'am.
found the error because they were being
So
overpaid.
if you
so to
just
speak.
compare percentages, and that's the easiest way to look at numbers instead of trying to 10,000, 5,000 everywhere. If you look at the top orange column compared to the one below it, you'll see just out of employee and spouse, we're paying 10% more right there, automatically with a number. So, we looked at the numbers, they were not calculated correctly. We looked at them, we said, hey, something's wrong here. We went back and did the math. We sat down with the Blue Cross Blue Shield lady. We even went with her with it because we were like, wait a minute, why isn't this not adding up? Because we're doing exactly how they did it prior. wasn't right, so we went with her. We talked to her. She goes, no, this is how you would do it. Me and Randy did all the numbers, and we came back and said, okay, this is how it's supposed to be, 40% of the remaining balance after the premiums paid. And that's the numbers that we have right here. Again, it did go up. Not saying it did not go up because we corrected the percentage that was already on there. We believe that I'm not going to speak for somebody else. I don't know how they got those percentages. I don't know why.
But the premium renewal was at what percentage from last year to this year? Randy?
Randy would have to answer that one.
I think it was about 5%, 5 to 6% is how much
So
the.
that was the only change in the premiums. What really changed from what you're explaining is that the deduction was not correct. We were deducting, we were paying 71% for some employees, not all of them,
Not
some
all of them.
employees. When they should have,
Yeah.
we should have only been paying 40%.
Yeah, in a sense, yes,
Yeah, and
ma'am.
that's-
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And it's not for everyone because if
Yeah.
you use the free one, you're not paying that. You're paying that same amount for everyone. But as you go through each plan, you have the basic, you keep buying up. So as you get higher in the buy up, that percentage gets a lot different because it's more premium. So you have to look at it that way. Now, again, it doesn't affect everyone, like we said. It's about 17 to 18 employees. But it does affect people. It does. I'm not going to say it doesn't.
So did you go back after you found out that there was an error and deduct that from the employee's pay?
No. This is new year, new fiscal year, started up, whether we talked to Blue Cross, went through the budget and everything else like that, and we put the new premiums in.
So it was whatever the payroll clerk, however that worked out, that happened, but we weren't going to make the employee come back and say, we only charge you,
Yeah,
we didn't charge you enough, you got to pay us back. We didn't do that.
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No,
all right.
no.
Good,
We never considered that.
No, that was
okay.
Well, yeah, but the employee also was never told when they signed up, your monthly premium's going up $200, $300.
No.
So they
I
had no
believe they
choice
were
until
told
they got
during
their
open
first
enrollment,
deduction
they would have known
and
that.
realized,
But this,
I can't afford this.
What did you
Only-
say, Randy?
only at open enrollment, like he said. Whenever they did open enrollment, because when they started, everyone had to sign back up again. Everybody's required to come in. So when they signed back up, they would have been told their premiums at that time.
so they would have
So
seen the
during open
numbers.
enrollment, they saw the pricing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just want to make sure this was fair for our employees because
Yes, sir.
I have a feeling if they knew again, not all of them, the ones with employee family, if they knew it was going up 71%, I kind of think they wouldn't have signed up. They would have shopped it before but maybe not. Maybe they said, you know what, I'll just wait and see if I can afford to pay my bills.
Well, I think there is only one person, on employee family, and at the highest end, like there are 3 types of plans. There's I think 67, 65, and 55, something like that. I know that the premium family plan was probably the biggest hit. I mean, that was significant, and that could have been the 70% that you're talking about. But unfortunately, I just don't have that paper to verify that, Mayor, as far as, but I believe that number could be accurate just because that one,
Yeah, the
you know,
premium,
the
the
family
premium's
premium's
high.
so
The last
high,
one, the
it's
premium's
like
high.
26,000 a year or
Well,
something.
it's this middle one, it's the 59 plan, but I didn't multiply them all out.
Okay,
I think,
sure.
I think this is what happens when you just inadvertently select a new insurance company and you fire the other one in the middle of the game at halftime, and someone's brought in and didn't have a lot of time to go out for requests for qualifications, and this is what we got. We got employees that are being hurt financially, and I don't like it. I don't think anyone up here likes it. And
I disagree. I don't think it has anything to do with the process. It's the fact that we found, the finance department found that there was an error in the past of the deductions for the premiums not being taken out at the correct amount. So they had a higher subsidy than what they should have had. And it was found when all of this happened because they were not at 40%. The city was paying 71% instead of 40%. So that is additional funds that we were expending for coverage when, from what I'm understanding from Tim, they found the error and they've corrected. We didn't go back and ask the employees to recover the cost for the past several years when we were overpaying for that premium.
So
You
we were
can't
being
recover the
charged by the
cost.
insurance company.
I'm sorry?
We were being charged by the insurance company.
Right, so we had to pay right, but we were paying,
But we were paying 71%.
yes, instead of 40% for that coverage for the
So
employee.
that was on the last insurance company,
Right.
not on us.
Was
or the
insurance
new
one of those procurement processes that, that a lot of people weren't very anxious to bid for us?
Yes, Blue Cross, we did maintain with Blue Cross. You know, I mean, the broker going to Garing Group, but yeah, well, yes.
Okay.
I believe that statement is correct. Blue Cross came back wanting to or willing to insure us, but a couple of the other big ones like United Health, I believe, declined.
Mm-hmm.
And we basically had, you know, our one choice given, you know, our region, our geographic region, plus our preference and trying to stay with Blue Cross if we could. And they were willing to keep us.
Yeah, but it's the agent that goes out and gets the bids.
Right, but the premiums went up 5%.
Sure.
Which I thought was pretty good compared to what insurance costs for a lot of other companies went up this past year.
I feel like when we start the budget process, we all kind of assume every year the insurance is going to like skyrocket. And, you know, we begin building the budget at 12 to 15%, and then it always comes back in much more reasonable than we had anticipated, I guess, or maybe not quite as expensive as we had anticipated. So I do remember it only going up the 5% because it's, again, one of those things that you're like, oh, okay, well, that wasn't as bad as we thought.
You know, Tim can calculate this, and sorry to put you on the spot, Tim. I don't think you can do it tonight, but I think the savings by changing and getting the percentage actually by, you know, making the 40% payment, there was a savings to the city of about, I think it was near $70,000 for the 17 employees to, you know, to kick in more for their insurance coverage as we evened it out. It was a fair amount of, you know, overall savings, even though the insurance rates went up 5%, the amount that the city pay, you know, that we record as expense, not including the, you know, or including, I mean, the additional employee deduction was 60 to 70,000 in savings for the city.
So savings for the taxpayers.
And I can get you that number for the next meeting if you like it. And I can get the names for you too, Danny.
Okay, any other questions? So at this next upcoming budget time, I would like us to go out again for procurement of agents, since we switched agents, like I said, in the middle of the year, which is very unusual. It was done without commission approval, which has always had commission approval to select our insurance agent. And so I know October 1st comes really quick, so we probably need to start the process in probably May. And again, for our PRM insurance also, we normally do it.
And PRM has expressed interest in becoming our agent. And, you know, if PRM were to win, should we look at them and you know, Florida League of Cities, if both of them would probably love to have the benefit portion along with the property insurance. So it seems reasonable to bid out the agent, you know, and have all of the insurance with one of the quasi-governmental agency carriers like Florida League of Cities or PRM.
It may save us money.
So Randy, I'm sorry, does PRM carry their health insurance?
Yeah, they, you know, similar to, you know, Florida League of Cities, they do the same thing. They don't carry the insurance, but they act as your broker. So they will get the bids out for like, you know, Florida Blue or Cigna or United Health.
Thanks, Randy.
Okay, any other
You're welcome.
questions?
Thank you, Tim.
Okay, we will move on to the consent agenda. I'd like to pull item 7.
Is item 7 that resolution, or is that a different one?
I believe it is resolution
one of-
2026-10.
Yep.
2026-10 is a resolution for number 7?
Yeah, yes, item 7.
And then is resolution number,
2026-11, I believe, Dean, but this would be new item 8 on the agenda. This is just the resolution that you asked for at the last meeting.
Right.
Correcting it, and so it repeals the
be-
2021, mentions that we're favorable to the drainage and the repaving plans, but it incorporates all the remaining issues that you had back in 2021. We'd still like to see these
So
as
do we need
things
to
be
add that to
addressed.
the consent
consent agenda
agenda?
is number 8?
I believe that's what the recommendation, Danny, was at the
All right.
outset. So did anyone want to pull that item as well?
I don't need
Okay,
to.
so just.
I'll motion that we approve the consent agenda, pulling item number 7, resolution 2026-10, and making sure we've added item 8, resolution 2026-11.
Second.
Motion by Heisler, second by Gardner. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Yeah, item 7 is adjusting fees, vaccination fees. It says on the computer, it's different than what it says here. It says tax and fee schedule. To present to present day pricing, the revision will be more comparable to the Henry County's fee schedule. Item 7 here is a resolution adjusting impounding fee. I'm assuming this is for the pound, for the animal shelter, feeding, vaccination, and so forth. So which is it? Is it for vaccination, or is it for coming in line with the Henry County? What were the fees before? What are the fees going to be now?
These,
I just don't know if there's enough information to, I just hate to pass fees and not know what they are.
I didn't bring the, I'm sorry,
Nothing.
we didn't bring the comparison to Henry counties, but our present fee schedule is below Henry counties. Fee schedules for impound, for daily feeding, for the whole gamut. So we are just attempting to adjust our fees to the present market day that for vaccinations, impound fees, feedings, to be more in line with Henry County, but to create our own fee schedule. And it also includes all impounds, so owner surrenders, everything. Just the entire Appendix A needed revision on each one of those line items.
So it's to cover our costs, basically,
Right,
because
to
obviously
cover the
the
cost
schedule
of it,
that we've
yeah,
had,
because-
we wasn't covering the cost.
Exactly. It doesn't look
Right.
like it appeared to be revised in a decade or so, and inflations and different things for foods,
were
for
behind.
vaccinations, for
Probably longer than that.
medications. Right.
Okay, any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-10.
A second.
Motion by Gardner, second by Williams. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 8 is the consideration of a variance for 542 Commercio. Guys want to come up and,
Sullivan's here. I wasn't sure if he wanted to speak on this. This particular lot, by all of our ordinances, will forever be unbuildable. It's only 5,000 square feet, and we don't have an ordinance. We don't have a zoning ordinance that would ever allow this to be built. Mr. Sullivan approached me about it, and I asked him to give me a plan that he thought would fit on the property, because even I was skeptical that he could make something fit on there. But he did. he brought me something, then I'm in favor of it. Otherwise, this will forever be an unbuildable lot.
And this is a vacant lot right now.
It's
But it
vacant,
used to have a mobile home on it?
or 2 or 3.
Or-
I'm
okay.
not aware of
Two, yeah,
the,
okay. I know that Mr. Bryan's here, Mr. Sullivan's here.
he is currently building one on the north end of that block, and now looking to do one here, and I believe looking to move onto the property across the street and start working on that apartment setup soon. So
And it's currently zoned what over there, that particular lot?
I believe it was
Property
rezoned.
appraiser, it's a mobile home, but they're always behind.
Brian Sullivan for the record. It was zoned mobile home, and it was part of that park. The park had 90% of the one block, and then it had the north and south corners of the west half of the adjoining block. So when I bought it and cleaned it up, the north lot is conforming. It's 4 lots, so you have 100 by 100. But when we had the pre-development meeting, it was suggested to me to go ahead and change the zoning on the south piece too, because the city had no intentions of allowing any more mobile homes to be built in the center of town, because it will conform to mobile home 1. So you could still put a mobile home on it, but there you're right on the corner in the middle of town, and you have a mobile home. And it doesn't conform in any way, shape, or form to any of the residential districts, including the special district we created for Orchard Park. However, I was able to get a 7.5, we got an 8-foot setback on the side, which is actually better than the ones that are already in that block. The one on next to me on the north side is like 3 foot off the line. So it's a reasonable setback, just like we did in Orchard Park. And luckily, there's a huge easement going through on not Sawgrass, south of Sawgrass. But anyway, where Commercio hits that one, there's like a 25-foot easement there. So when you put it 15 foot back, it gives you like 35 feet from the road. So it's not going to look like it's dominating anything.
At El Paso?
That's it, El Paso, yeah.
And I guess, Brian, I know that years ago, when with the future land use change from that, we wanted it to be residential, and I thought that parcel was also included,
That was the intent.
right? And so, because we have multifamily dwellings on another one of the parks, but that one was part of redevelopment, and that's what I thought that lot was also included, but obviously it wasn't. So it's still zoned for mobile.
Oh,
home.
and like Mr. Cooper said, it's in the residential categories, absolutely not. You'd have to create a special district for it. And it may be something that the commission needs to look at in the future, because if you do intend to change those blocks going down through there, you're gonna have people, some have 4 lots, some have 2, but if you've got 1 lot, you're in trouble. There's just nothing. But 2 lots, is a 50-foot lot. They're doing subdivisions every day with 50-foot lots. I believe the new subdivision, Clewiston South, 50-foot lots. So
We have in town, Osceola, Pasadena, some of the other sections of town where the homes were built in the 30s, or I don't know if they're 50 feet. There might be a little bit more than that, 65 feet, but they're smaller, yeah.
Right. Orchard Park were 60. They averaged, they would give or take, but they pretty much were 60 by 120, so like 8,500 feet.
The thing is, down the line, there's other lots on that street that are the same square footage, and then there's one that's even less. I'd like us to, if we were to grant this, it's gonna happen again and again on that one particular, what's the future land use on that block?
R3. Yeah, and the next block too, that, because the intent of the commission at that time was to eliminate all of the eyesores going through there and put single-family homes in there, or if you were able to get enough lots, like I was fortunate enough, go ahead and do the multifamily. So, you know, I would suggest you get with your, you know, your zoning board and ask them to come up with some kind of a remedy for that, because you like Mr. Pittman just said, it's gonna be over and over and over. You know, 3 lots doesn't conform. You gotta have 4.
So, Mr. Mayor, may I make a recommendation? What I would ask is maybe we task the Planning and Zoning Board in looking at the issue and coming up with essentially a non-conforming lot ordinance that says if you have a lot of record, you know, it's what, at the time these lots were subdivided, they're originally buildable. They'll be buildable within the city of Clewiston. And but for adopting that kind of resolution, that kind of ordinance, looking at how many of you have actually out there, and see if you want to tinker it at all to incentivize people to accumulate multiple lots, if there's anything like that. But you definitely don't want a situation where you have a lot of record that was buildable until, you know, sometime in the recent past, and now it's completely useless. So I think that it's probably more than I just want to make the change right away. I want to have somebody look at it and see how many we're actually dealing with and if you need to tweak it. But, you know, all these lots are part of the original, you know, plan of the city. And I think, yeah, they should be developable in some way, shape, or form. And you don't want to see them, each one come here. But this one clearly meets all the standards of the variance criteria.
Well, and also, I mean, when he purchased this lot, he purchased it with a bigger parcel that we had already changed the zoning on it, you know, not to be a mobile home lot, you know, to be a multifamily.
Yeah.
Right,
Multifamily.
R3.
And so I thought that this was all included.
I think
in
this
that.
is, looking back at the correspondence,
was,
this
Mom.
is, the issue isn't the zoning. The issue is that none of our zoning, our future land use zoning categories allow a buildable lot under like 9,800 square feet. So there was a focus to try to build bigger 10,000-foot lots instead of the smaller ones. But the tendency now is even big new subdivisions, they're putting in 50-foot wide lots. I mean,
It's a hardship, or it's a.
Yeah.
It meets the
25 by 80,
requirements of
right?
the request.
This
Okay.
was 25 by 80?
It's 50 by 100, 2 25s by 100.
We do have something in the ordinance that if the lot was previously occupied within the last 5 years, that it would remain buildable, that you could build something back on it. But this one hasn't had anything on it for
Oh, and this is something that is gonna add to the community, it's gonna add to property values. This isn't something that you're hanging around the necks of local residents there. You're gonna increase their property values and hopefully encourage them to think about, gee, this trailer's about shot, maybe we can, you know, build here too. And as, I don't know your name, I'm sorry, but as he said, 100% right, adopt a policy, and you won't have to keep going through this, and he'll be able to handle it at his level.
I think if we do adopt a policy, we need to still have a minimum square footage, because the lot down the street here, yours is 5,000. Looks like there's another couple of them that are 5,000-ish. But that one I'm looking at, and I looked it up, it has a single owner. I think it's like 3,000 square feet, just wide enough for a mobile home.
Oh, Lord.
So it's, that lot, I don't think you could put a house on that one with a house on a 5,000-foot lot next to it. So I think and again, this is getting off subject, but we probably need to put a minimum. But I would be definitely for looking at the various lots we have and, you know, coming up with an ordinance.
how many unbuildable lots we would have.
I know I looked at it one time when the subject came up, and I remember what Mr. Pittman said, that there was one in there that there was no way. And, but you know, even the guy next to me that's too close to the line, he's still got 4 lots, and it's a nice place. So it'll be good to get the single-family homes in and the mobile homes out.
That was the intent of the changes that we did for redevelopment.
Okay, and for attorney, everything meets the.
Yeah, I think the testimony's covered all of the criteria and your variance criteria. I think the only question is if there's any members of the public have anything, open up a public hearing and close it.
Okay, we'll declare the public hearing open. If anyone would like to speak, you can come to the podium and state your name and address. You gonna speak? Oh, okay.
We're just ready to get out of here.
Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Any further comments or questions by the commission?
We did send this out to everybody within 200 feet. We didn't get any feedback.
Oh, okay. All right, hearing none, we'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the variance application for 542 Commercial Street.
I second.
Motion by Gardner, second by Williams. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you guys for coming in.
Brian, I have a
Thank
quick
you.
question for you. Originally on Orchard Park, since you brought it up, what were those homes selling for at that time when you did that project?
We started them at 128.
I just saw the latest sale, it was over 300,000.
I noticed.
Okay, all right.
And there's two of those 120s in there for 250.
Wow.
That's what we want to see, people build, empires. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Have a good day.
Okay, item 9 on the agenda is the consideration and approval of a special exception application for 813 East Ventura Avenue.
All right, so I believe that Mr. Davis is here. This one is a special exception, not a variance, because what he wants to build is not an allowable use. That is zoned industrial over there. It's on the other side of Francisco, and it's all the mobile homes that are in there. I'm trying to understand the history behind it. I think that Mr. Reese did some inspections on some and actually condemned some of them, but in order for the homes that are in there would basically have to age out before this could ever be used as an industrial park. So I'm in favor of it because I think that it allows us to do something now. But that I think would get rid of the industrial plan that was put in place there, which I don't quite understand.
Well, I think back in the day, there was a investment company or real estate company that pushed to get that rezoned because they were going to purchase the entire trailer parks around that area and put in an industrial suites or something like that.
I heard some of that story, and he pushed for it to be rezoned industrial, but then
Right.
I think that there's a sunset law whenever a citizen or a property owner requests a rezoning for said project, and then if it doesn't happen, I believe there's a sunset law on that rezoning, which would kick it back to mobile homes at that
So is
point.
that whole block, is that all zoned industrial in the future? And what is it on the future land use? And you take your time. I don't mind because it's set off the road, but Francisco probably does the frontage on Francisco. I think eventually either needs to be commercial or light industrial, not heavy industrial.
So a part of it is 27 corridor, and then where he's at is industrial.
Yeah, and that's another thing we may need to look at in the near future is that area.
813 East Ventura Avenue is zoned commercial right now, correct? That's what the application says. Yeah.
Davis for the record. Yeah, it recently changed. It was changed in 2025, if I remember, when it converted over. And I do believe, correct, is that it was, I'm having a brain fart, sorry, long day. It recently changed, and it was because there was an industrial plan coming in there, and that has fell through, as obviously we know. And
Okay.
biggest concern we
Got
have
it.
in this neighborhood is we just don't have enough places for people.
And you're
to
Mr.
live.
Davis?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. I think putting in, multifamily or duplex apartments is what what I'm seeing here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
And I know
Something
that
nice and
on-
building the community.
On down, there's also more apartments on that street, on that
There are,
same
yes,
side of
ma'am.
the street. There's a mobile home park, but there's also
Yes, ma'am.
multifamily through there
It's,
as well.
it's pretty mixed
Yeah.
in there.
Looks like some mobile home lots also, which again are gonna run into the same square footage problem. But just looking at the size of them, a house is not gonna work. Now, I just hate to do spot zoning without knowing what we're gonna do with the whole block. Even on our future land use. It looks, at least by this picture, and I know this one could be old, but there's a lot of mobile homes, which they can't go back there.
Right.
Because we've already changed the land use on it. And it is, I would like to see it a residential area, definitely not industrial. That's something that we have to,
On the exciting part about it is Leslie and I daily have people coming to us wanting to build stuff, wanting to do residential. The state of Florida right now is hard pressed to address the housing shortage problem that we have. Looking at our comprehensive plan, we only hit like 40% of our projected growth because there's just nowhere to grow. So we have people that are wanting to build duplexes and apartments, and there's a lot of apartment interest in Clewiston right now, some upper scale too. So Clewiston is definitely doing their part to address the housing shortage. So I'm excited to see people wanting to do stuff with lots that otherwise would just sit there.
Can you make those green space, Jimmy? Or a park? In other words, what he builds, is that you can't build a home, make it a park. Make like a green space or you playground equipment or whatever.
well, it's in the CRA, right, Leslie?
Part of it.
I mean,
Too far off?
That's not it. I don't think that's in the CRA. No.
I'd
Yeah.
rather have it on the tax rolls,
Right. Right.
and, that's an old house that's been there. It was a nice homestead for many years, but now it's reached its life value. There's no doubt about that.
Built in the 40s.
And
It was
I'd rather
actually one of
see
the original ones that
residential
was
than
moved.
industrial, for sure, to be more in line with the whole block.
Yeah, if you were even on the other side of the block, I probably wouldn't be in favor because just across one block, we have a commercial coming in with the new sports guy down there. On that side of the block, I'm willing to go residential there, but that's what I was gonna say. If we could get that in the CRA, the CRA could purchase those lots perhaps in the near future and then resell them, but, that
Yeah, the
would
Main
be,
Street quarter plan doesn't go that far. It only goes to Sagamore,
yeah.
correct? And I don't know about, but certainly residential.
So here we go, the lot just to the west of there,
It's a house as well. It's residential.
right, but look at the lot size.
Yeah.
No house is gonna be built there if something ever happens to that house. Because of the square footage of that lot. Are you sure you can't purchase that one too?
I can get a shot.
But if you look further down, there's a driveway there was another house there on the corner of Ventura and Francisco at one time, because there's 3 driveways there. So there was a house there that was torn down at that time.
I said those were the houses that were brought over back, I believe, in the
Right.
Okay, we'll declare the public hearing open. If anyone would like to come to the podium and speak and state your name and address, other than Mr. Davis, thank you. Seeing no comments, anyone from the commission have any further comments or discussion or questions before we make a decision?
I like the addition of multifamily homes.
I got maybe a interim solution. I don't think it'll be a problem for Mr. Davis, but to the point that you made about something expiring, you could put, say, a 3-year time frame on the special exception. So that would allow him to move forward in the next 3 years to build the duplex or the multifamily product. And if it doesn't happen, it remains in its commercial usage.
Yeah, that's true. On a special exception, we
Wanna
can,
move
we can
forward with
actually
that.
attach anything we want. We can make him put a fence up, we can make him, so that is a good point to make.
Your intent is to go ahead and take down the existing house and build something soon?
Yes, ma'am. Once I get the plans drawn up and get approval from the city and whatnot, then I would move forward. So probably a 1.5 to 2 year timeframe, looking, depending on how fast. I know construction over here can be a little tricky sometimes.
Yes, it can.
48 months,
3 year.
Yeah, I would suggest a 3-year
3-year. Okay.
permit pulled within 3 years.
I'll make a motion to approve special exception application for 813 East Ventura Avenue with a 3-year sunset.
Second.
Okay, motion by Gardner, second by Edmonds. Any further questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Davis.
Good luck.
Okay, item 10 on the agenda is Resolution 2026-05. I'll read it by title, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving an agreement regarding the Clewiston Substation Feeder Breaker Replacement Project between the City of Clewiston and the FMPA, authorizing the appropriate city officials to execute the agreement, providing for severability, conflict, and an effective date. This is a budgeted item, correct, Lynn? You can come up because you're going to have several.
So we're going to replace the last 2 breakers at the substation and the relays. And this has been an ongoing project since 2012. So
Okay,
it's 6 feeder breakers and 2 spares. This is the last oil breaker that we have out there. So it's a great project. We've already approved the construction. This contract here is to do the actual design of the protective systems and the as-built drawings.
Okay. Any more questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll motion that we approve resolution 2026-05.
Okay, motion by Highslope, second by Edmonds. Anything else? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next is Resolution 2026-06, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving an agreement regarding the city electric system plan Phase 1 between the City of Clewiston and the Florida Municipal Power Agency, authorizing the appropriate city officials to execute the agreement, providing for severability, conflict, and an effective date. I know we talked about this during budget.
Yeah, and this ties into all the growth that we're kind of anticipating, especially on the west side of the city. We've been talking a little bit to the engineers about how to anticipate that growth and whether we were ready for it. And they said, well, you know, we would recommend doing a model first. And we went to FMPA and some of their contractors to see who would be a good choice for that. And they recommended Leidos, so we talked to a couple cities. And then they came back to us with a proposal for about $80,000. And we talked some more about phasing it. And what's before you now is Phase 1, which would just be going out and getting all the assets mapped. And then based on, you know, how good our data is, deciding then whether we want to go ahead with the model and invest another $40,000. But I think we probably will be in a good position to do it after we finish this Phase 1. It's just a 2 or 3 month lift to do this piece.
Okay, and again, this is a budgeted item. Right?
Yes. Sorry.
Any further discussion? All right, we'll entertain a motion on item 11.
Item 11, number.
Motion by Edmonds,
Second.
second by Highslope. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 12 is Resolution 2026-07, -07. I'll read it by title. A resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida relating to the State Revolving Fund Loan Program. Making findings, authorizing loan application, authorizing loan agreement, establishing pledge revenues, designating authorized representatives, providing assurances, providing for conflict, severability, and an effective date. Any discussion, explanation? Who's up on that one?
It looks like to me that it's a loan amount, and now they're saying that they're gonna do a 100% principal forgiveness.
I
And we
like
have
that.
to change the ordinance to state that. So, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
That's good to me.
26-07.
Right on. A second.
All right, motion by Gardner, second by Williams, and this was, I was looking, and it's specifically for water. Can you give us just a little bit of not a lot of detail, but what the plan is to spend the money on?
I can tell you, it's Drinking Water Project 26045.
Yep.
Does that include, the treatment plant and distribution?
Yes, it's to improve water pressure.
Okay.
Out of Helene funds.
Yeah, you need to come up.
Sorry.
Well, I just want to
We
get it on the
did- we
record,
did
so
all- yes.
if somebody goes back and listens, they'll know, what did we spend $8 million on?
The principal forgiveness was originally what you all approved when this was before you before, but they changed the language in the resolution itself. That's kind of a new thing. So the resolution that you had approved would have been done the ticket. It's what they asked us to get executed, but then they came back and said, you know what, we like this wording a little better because it's clearer that it's principal forgiveness. So they just put that in the resolution. So we're just kind of following their lead on what they want us to, to specify.
Do you have a plan yet of exactly what you're going to do, or is that forthcoming?
That's going to be coming as part of the SRF process. You have to do a facility plan, and one of the things that you have to address in that is this the best project to address the issue? So you can look at other solutions as well. And what we originally applied for was a storage tank at the plant, but I'm assuming we'll probably want to look into replacing water mains to address the pressure issue too. So I think there's other good projects out there that we could probably pursue.
Is this gonna help us replace some of the water lines that have been here a long time?
That's what I would think we would look into. Yeah. At any rate, either project is good, and $8 million of money that we don't have to pay back is even better.
Can't turn that down, huh?
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Who wants $8 million?
Okay. Motion and a second, we've already had. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 13 on the agenda is Resolution 2026-11. A resolution of the City of Clewiston City Commission rescinding a prior resolution relating to the Florida Department of Transportation's FDOT US 27.
My apologies, Mayor, that was the one I asked to get added to the consent agenda, so you don't have to deal with that one. It's already been approved.
Okay, good. I don't have to read anymore. Okay. Did I get all of them? Okay. I'm just making sure because sometimes. Okay, we'll move on to comments by the city manager.
Yeah, good news. Mellows Group gave us the Waterline Pasadena job and the Alvarez job. Pasadena gave us $1.8 million for the training center, fire department, and the culvert job. So we got them all in. So hopefully we get everything. So that's, I sent letters or emails to them congratulating, thanking them for supporting us.
Oh, that's good.
Yep.
I spoke to Screven, I guess one day last week, and he did
Yep.
tell me that everything was still alive
Yep.
on one
Yep.
side or
So
the
that's
other,
good.
so that's good.
Yeah,
Very
that's
good.
awesome. Good job, everybody.
Yep. That's it for me.
Okay, city attorney?
I don't have anything except to, if you haven't already heard about the bill that was passed by the House that would eliminate all ad valorem taxes except for school. That's just something to think about. I don't think it's going to get a Senate companion, but something else will happen, and there likely will be a special session. So at this time, the only advice I would have, and it's really for Randy and all the departments, is to be very cautious about getting too caught up in early budget discussions, because we just don't know how that impact is going to happen. So if a Senate, companion goes through without changes, we may be able to start before the trim process, getting from the property appraiser estimates of how that's going to impact the budget. But for the most part, right now, I'd say it's a wait and see, but it could be substantial.
What have you heard about fiscally constrained counties?
There's no exception in the bill. The bill is, of the 7 or so bills that were moving around, this was probably the most radical of the bunch. And I'm not unconvinced that it was just put forward to get the conversation going. But what it does, in its 3 basic elements, is it says no homestead tax, or no taxes on homesteaded properties except for the school portion. And local governments cannot reduce fire and police spending beyond the last year. So the issue, of course, becomes that shifts. Every community is going to be different. Some will have lots of assessments, some will have plenty of commercial, but in a lot of communities, it will shift it all to the non-homestead properties, which I think a lot of homestead properties are in Clewiston, and you don't have that value. So there's going to be a gap, but there's no exceptions for fiscally constrained communities in any way.
Other communities already have assessments for street lighting, for fire and safety.
Fire and safety, you can't do one for police.
Sorry?
You cannot do one for police. Police is not allowed.
Okay.
But if the legislature guts the ad valorem, you may be able to create new assessments for police, because the case law says you can't charge an assessment for something you're already providing with ad valorem. If we no longer have the ad valorem, what we'll see is a proliferation of special assessments.
And recreation assessments and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you think, and I know we don't want to get too deep into this well today, but do you think they'll raise the percentages on what the appraisers are allowed to raise commercial and non?
So what could happen, the bill as it stands right now just makes some very blanket decisions. It doesn't address assessment methodology, any of that. That could be a solution if the Senate doesn't move back. It could come back to say, okay, we're going to do an increased homestead exemption, do something that's doesn't require. This is a constitutional change. So if this goes, the Constitution gets approved by the voters by 60%, it's going to be very difficult to undo. So yes, you would probably see all sorts of tweaks and catches. If anyone remembers when we had Save Our Homes and the 3% cap that was put on that, it was just a few years before the non-homesteaded properties and commercial properties started screaming, and then they got a cap. So there's always, consequences down the line.
Okay, anything else, sir?
No, that's it.
Okay, Commissioner Williams, comments?
Actually none. I'm good this week.
Okay, Commissioner Edmonds?
What's going on with the Presidente grocery store?
Moving forward.
I saw a little bit of movement over there. Do
Yep.
they have a timeline on when it's going to open?
What was that you told me?
They're doing a full remodel inside, cutting concrete, redoing underground plumbing, everything.
Wow.
There's going to be a deli in there. It's like a $2 million remodel.
Nice.
So we're going through they actually expedited the process by doing a private provider for their plan review. So the plan review is already done. We're actually pretty close to waiting on the fire marshal, and then we'll kick the permit out. That'll be one of the fastest $2 million permits ever pushed through the window.
So do they have an ETA of when they're going to cut the ribbon and open the doors?
I don't, but I can't imagine anybody putting the legwork that they put into it to drag their feet. So I would assume they pulled a permit for the sign, and within 15 business days, the sign was on the side of the wall. So I would say they're they're moving pretty quick. So I don't have an ETA. That's it's a pretty inclusive remodel. So it could be, I mean, for a good contractor, 2 months, 3 months to finish. For an average one, 6 years.
So we'll hold you to the 3 months.
What about the Spirits and Tapas that they were supposed to be?
The what?
The restaurant beside it.
And that's not moving at this time. They have some other projects he's working on. He's been talking to Chris down at Plattner's and a couple other places. We got a lot of people that's coming to us and wanting to build. We just got to find a place for them. Had a lot of people come forward. Things are good. Actually looking really good. Got to find them a place. But you know what you guys did tonight? That's great. That's moving us forward. And like these guys, they do want to build. And that's what we need is apartments. They look pretty good. I like the few homes that the contractors are doing around town. There's quite a few. Looking good.
Okay, is that it?
Good.
Vice Mayor Heislow.
I'd like to real quickly, I know that they're both gone, but congratulate Christine Peterson again for, I mean, just on a personal level, she's been a great mentor for me, you know, before I came on the commission and now that she's stepped off. So I appreciate all the work and dedication that she gives to the city as a whole. And I'd also like to congratulate Steve. 43 years it's pretty amazing. So good for him. I asked him what he was going to do with all his newfound time, and he assured me he would stay busy. So that's exciting. Mr. Pittman, you said something earlier about beefing up our benefits and, you know, wanting to look at that. And I'd like to say that I agree with that. We spoke during our special meeting. Was that last week?
13.
Yeah, last week. About getting the staff an extra day or two, and I think things like that, and looking at our benefits packages, you know, every year, really, and seeing, are we doing the best we can do for our people? I think that that's important, that we use that as an opportunity to keep, to attract and retain good employees. And I would like for us to look at, this is going to be a Fran thing, so she's going to be so excited. I'd like for us to look at something called Board Doc. Henry County School Board uses that for their agendas and things like that. It is nearly impossible to keep up on the computer with a meeting. It's having no hyperlinks or anything like that. It is super, super difficult. I don't know, is it just me? Okay, like I'm just like forever scrolling, you know?
You got to write down page numbers if you want to go to it quick.
What was
But
the
I
program?
don't. Like there are programs that make it where I don't have to write down page numbers.
What's the name of the program?
Board Doc.
Board Doc.
Henry County School Board uses it. So if you go, obviously they're governed by the same, you know, standards with the state and whatnot. If you go to their website and look at one of their agendas, you can see how everything, you know, pops out in its own window, and it's much more user-friendly. I think it would be much more user-friendly for the public even. And I think at the end of the day, once we all learn how to use it, I think it would make your life easier too, because it like has the ability to just enter in like Hillary Highslope motioned, Barbara Edmonds second, you know, or whatever, and track all that for you. And those are all of my things.
Yeah, I think when we decided to get computers, we just got them and put the first thing we found, which was your predecessor. So I agree. I think it's not very user-friendly.
It is not user-friendly at all. Not at all.
So if that
Not
works
the only
out.
one.
Yeah.
No,
Well, that's why I got 3 windows open. I got to go back and forth.
it's not a you thing, Barbara.
Yeah.
It's an us thing. It's
Right.
all of us.
Okay, Commissioner Gardner?
I'm so glad that Derek brought up about Doge, because I had also seen it through the Florida League of Cities about what's happening with the taxes, but I know that, or the real estate taxes, but I know that under the Doge umbrella, we started 2 years ago to look at reducing cost. And it's something that it looks like to me we're going to have to keep doing. And I don't know, where do we have to quit sharpening the pencil, because we're not going to be able to run the community, especially if we don't have the base that we have from the real estate taxes. So I think that this budget year is going to be for all cities, not just for us. It's going to be, a real big process. And I know you just cautioned us not to start too early, and then buying new programs and looking at the benefits. I mean, to me, those
Very
are
fair.
Yeah, and I think that it's going to be difficult. I mean, we had talked about benefits and insurance, just overall, how to maximize the dollars that we do have, and knowing that there's going to be some type of reduction, whether we have to augment it because we're part of a physically constrained county and there's going to be some kind of leeway for us, or we're going to have to look at assessments. There's no way that we can continue to operate a city without having the baseline that we've been receiving, without cutting services to a huge amount. So that was my only comment, because I know that the Doge effort was not pleasant, that Danny and Randy started 2 years ago, but that it was necessary. And every time I read a FLC email, it just strengthens the efforts that we started 2 years ago in reducing costs and trimming and just being able to sustain ourselves. So.
It wasn't pleasant at all, and honestly, I'm not quite sure that we don't still pay for that.
Right.
But it's what's required, and if we have to do it again, we have to do it again.
I don't think we're going to have a choice, and I think that we're going to have to, how we go through the process. I know that Screven's probably going to keep us up to date, Danny, on what's happening, but that we're going to have more pencil sharpening, I think, this budget year than we did the previous 2 years, which were painful. I think and that we can't start as early as we would want to. I don't know the May timeframe. I know that Randy's probably already started on budget numbers.
We've
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we looked at a company that would buy our water sewer system. And the cost looked at their numbers. We haven't totaled it completely yet, but to buy us out, basically. I've been looking at their rates, and I've been looking at other cities that they run. It's not much of a difference, but I mean, it's pretty unique, actually. So I've been working on that behind the scenes. If it's possible, I mean, if the times do get where we can't really, I mean, we do have old distribution, even though we got $8 million, but we got to think about it. Mm-hmm. We got a system that's old. I mean, we went through an I&I program where we lined and changed out the pumps, and now, of course, we're looking to fund more funding for the wastewater plant, but it's big money. You're probably looking at $40–50 million for the wastewater plant, and we got 18, I think, total right now. But I mean, we're working on those numbers. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, but those are the things you're going to have to look at. I mean,
and how we can work better with the county.
Yep.
That's something to consider. Are there services that we offer that, that the county might be interested in taking off our hands, or,
But anyway, those are things we're looking at.
I think, as we look at all this, one of the things that over the years we have found out, especially during hurricanes, is that nobody looks out for us better than us.
Mm-hmm.
And that when we, parcel out things, we're always usually the last one to get the issues addressed. So I think that again, it's not going to be easy. We're going to have lots of discussions on this, especially after we find out what really is going to be happening.
Well,
from
that's
the
what I'm
state.
saying. It depends what goes down. I mean, you got to look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what it
All
is.
right. Well, I appreciate you starting to look at the budget information already, because Tim's
We've been
shaking his
doing
head, that they've
Actually, I
started.
think you guys should be getting emails about your budgets. Start working on them.
That's all I had. Oh, no, I do have one more thing. Although I was not able to make it, Jeannie, I heard that the pickleball tournament was a success. So I want to thank you for the efforts that you did in getting that together, because I think the numbers, I think we have that.
1,150 56, I think.
Okay.
gonna say it
So
was
that was awesome
packed.
for Friday night, and I just want to continue to encourage you and your, and how you work your department and get these things done, because it's amazing that on a Friday night, we can have that many people show up, and I think those events are great for the community. So thank you, Jeannie.
I didn't go to the pickleball tournament, but I did get food.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, and I would just go ahead and, talking about the budget a little bit, is we may have to consider, no one likes it, but if ad valorem goes away, we're gonna have rate hikes.
Yep.
Water, sewer, electric, and if the Service Commission needs notice, we need to be thinking about that now, not in September. So if there's anything we need to do a study, do a notice, do something, that's just part of it. If we want to keep our golf course, if we want to keep fully staffed recreation and all the things that don't bring in money. I know the golf course brings in money, but I'm talking about we supplement it still. I know the police department doesn't bring in money, but we want protection. So it's all those areas. If we lose that ad valorem, something's got to go up or go away. And it's hard. It's a tough decision. And I think you're right. This year is going to be way tougher than last year. We talked about that too. So but we'll make it through it. We got the Sugar Festival coming.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So
March
something
14th.
to look forward to. So no,
You mentioned something about the golf course, and there was another event this weekend, and I heard about it at Rotary today, the LPGA golf tournament that happened out of the golf course, and it was the majority of the people that came were from out of town, and it was a very successful golf tournament.
On the
And
women
Danny,
out
you
there.
mentioned that there was.
There's only 2 local ladies and the rest from East Coast, West Coast, and loved it. Loved the course.
And that it was a meeting place in the middle, so just,
think they had
hats
about
off to
80 or
Robbie and
90.
his team for
Awesome.
putting that on.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good. Great.
right, good.
I just need to ask Francesca a question about the workshop that we were supposed to have in March, if she had a date.
Workshop?
Did you say something about the 24th? Oh, okay. That's not for us.
The board, but Chris is still working on that.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, that's something he's working on, but we really got to get going.
And
Got
we
a
were
lot of
going to
projects.
also talk about the Housing Authority appointment. Did we
Yeah.
come up with someone?
Not yet.
I think it's,
Working on it.
you've publicized it, right? So you're still waiting on, okay.
But the application needs to be adjusted because we are missing a piece.
Okay. Okay, that's all I have. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a great week.